Welcome to the House Therapy, the podcast that helps you to create a home that you love to live in. I'm Nina Dwaron, owner and lead designer at ISO Design and Interiors. And each week, we're going to explore practical ways to help bring more beauty, function, and flow into your space. From design and staging to organizing, downsizing, and everything in between. If you want a home that truly supports your life and your family, you're in the right place. Let's get started. Spring is just around the corner, and as you may know, spring is the busiest season in the real estate industry. And if you are thinking about selling in the 2026 market, you need to listen to today's episode with my special guest, Joshua Campbell. Josh is the broker at the Knowledge Broker. And specializes in both residential and commercial real estate, along with mortgage broker services as well. And his services are offered across the Greater Toronto area. Now, Josh and his team's priority is to ensure that your next real estate purchase or sale supports your overall lifelong goals and to help you navigate the very complex contractual and financial matters that comes with these unique transactions. Welcome, Josh.
Hi, how are you?
Very good. Thank you. Thank you.
Good.
Now, you and I have worked together for a long time,
Yeah.
and you are a very busy man. So I'm very grateful that you can spare the time to join me today to give some actionable insights to our listeners. And let's jump in, okay?
Absolutely.
Okay. So now, remind me, how long have you been in the real estate business? And then my second part to this question is, how has the industry changed or shift over the years since you've been in the business?
Yeah, it's been 20 years.
20 years.
Yeah, going into my 21st. It seems like I mean, like that whole catchphrase thing of seems like yesterday, it's true. Because time does fly when you're learning, especially if you're having fun.
For sure.
The what I've learned the most, I mean, like besides patience, which is number one, to know like in any industry, you're gonna have ups and downs in the business, and it's a market. It's a stock
Hmm.
market. And if anybody watches the stock market, it goes up and down. And
Yes.
I ultimately, stock markets, just like business, they grow. So I mean, like over time, the stock market grows, and over time, business grows. I've with regards to people, I've recognized that people, oddly enough, a lot of the time, the patients have gone down. Uh, yeah, it's crazy but true. Because at the very beginning of me getting the business, websites were just coming on board.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, like people had a website.
We're dating ourselves.
Oh, I know. And how many people had a website and what was on the website and like what did it look like and uh like it was a different world. Email, no faxes. Electronic signing was in the last 10 years and it's only still in its infancy. So the world has changed a lot.
Yes.
And I find personally for the better because and better and worse. Better that real estate agents can really work from anywhere, so we can always be on the ball.
Yeah,
At the
yeah.
same time, we're always expected to be on the ball. And not only that, for the worse, we don't necessarily see our clients as nearly as often. We used to meet them in person. You'd be
Mhm.
surprised how sometimes if you meet someone in person, you can get a deal done by massaging it in different ways
Yeah,
because you can sense their discomfort or their comfort in something.
for
So
sure. For
yeah.
sure. Like the technology has definitely affected our patience level for sure because we want things so instantly now, right? So
Yeah.
yeah. So and that has permeated through every aspect of our lives, including real estate transactions.
Yeah, and people don't realize like even I do everything on a like a perfectionist kind of complex, and when it comes to even getting someone's photos and me letting them see the photos, by the time you've booked a photographer, they're busy. The good ones
Yes.
are busy.
Yes.
You get them in the door, they go through, they do videos, they do drone shots, you name it. Uh, they go home, they color correct, and then they provide them to you, usually in like
Mhm.
48 to 72 hours. A lot
Mhm.
of people think, oh, the guy just came through the house. I can do the photos right now. Why can't I see them? It's like, and I mean, like, and not only does the 48 hours to 72 hours, then I vet them.
right.
And I get rid of the bad shots because I don't want people to see the bad shots because they'll think lower quality of the real estate agent or the photographer.
Mhm.
And then you give them to them, and it's like 4 days later, and a lot of people are like, why couldn't I get those instantly? And they don't realize that there's still, even with digital, uh, you'd be surprised how there's still a lot of man hours that go behind it.
For sure, for sure. Like the difference between professional photos and the things that we take on our phone is hugely different. And but
Yeah.
this has changed the way we think about everything.
Everything. And I mean, like we're it's good that we're available.
Yeah.
I think that if you set the tone with clients, they will accept your tone and send it back. Meaning, if you get in a habit of relaying a message to your client immediately, and if you reply to an email immediately, then they will expect you to be available immediately,
Yeah.
which becomes more of a conversation more than a
Yeah.
thought about email, you know?
Yeah.
So conversations, I find you can make errors, and we're not in the business of making errors. So, I mean, a lot of people do, but I don't want to be, so I've slowed it down. Like when someone writes me an email, I get back to them usually before the end of day.
Hmm.
Or if they wrote me late at night, I'm not going to answer that night because
Yeah.
it's not, unless it's something that's mandatory, like an offer, it's not worth it because you sleep on it, you think about it, it's in the back of your mind, you reply properly, right? So
For
we
sure.
have the ability to slow it down. You just have to have control of it.
Yeah. Yeah, in this business we have to set boundaries. I'm not always good at that, right? Like I follow kind of the same time and schedule as the real estate industry, and I'm answering messages, late into the night. And my husband often tells me, like, don't you have a specific hours that you stick to during the day? But like, I try to, like, setting boundaries is challenging in our business.
Yeah, it's very much it's ours. Like it's not up
Yeah.
to I mean like if I get a real estate agent on the other end when I buy a house or a property, and if they're replying to me, I want the answer right away because
Yeah.
I'm like I'm excited. I want to know
Yeah.
the answer.
Right.
I mean like and if they're replying, I love them.
Yes.
At
I
the same
know.
time, like if they don't reply to the next day, and I'm used to that, then
Yes.
I know when they reply back to me next day, it's gonna be a very thorough, thoughtful answer.
Hmm.
So I mean, like I also respect that as well,
Yeah.
because I mean, like you gotta be able to, especially nowadays, you gotta tone emotions, and people that make emotional decisions don't necessarily make the right decision.
Yeah.
So we have to tone our clients' emotions
Right. Right.
and slow them down because for the better or worse, I don't think people make good decisions when they're rushed ever.
Never, never through anything really. I agree, completely agree. Now, you did say that there's been a lot of changes over the years since you've been in business. On the flip side of that, how would you describe this year?
It's been a challenge at the same time. If you've been in the business for a while, you already have a set clientele. I'm always struggling when I talk to real estate agents that are either getting in the business.
Hmm.
And I don't struggle to talk to them. I mean, it's a struggle to have to hear them because if you feel bad for them. They're just getting in the business, so in their mind, there's nothing to do, and they have no work to do. I mean,
Hmm.
there's lots of work to do, but
Yeah.
they don't look at it because they're not getting paid.
Right.
So, and then you get a lot of people that have been in the business forever, and they're not getting calls because their clients are not moving anymore, or maybe they didn't necessarily network themselves enough with their clients' children, right?
Yes.
So, I mean, at the end of the day, it's a struggle to have to hear it from them because, like, when you hear people that are struggling in this business, uh, it's because they didn't take advantage of the downtime, in my opinion.
Yeah.
During downtime, I mean, even this year, it was busy up till like the last few weeks, and you'll probably air this like early December, so it's end of November right now.
Hmm.
Um, in reality, I I'm literally doing everything I didn't have time to do when it's really busy.
That's right. You need to catch up on all the marketing and filling your pipeline, right?
Yeah, and like touching base with people or
Hmm.
developing your touch bases,
Yeah.
doing a podcast. I mean, like these are the things that people don't do when you're running around with your chicken with a head cut off,
I know.
or this is the stuff you do now.
Yes.
And it's like this is when you plant your seeds and you reconnect with people.
Hmm.
You end up visiting, giving gifts, catching up, you name it. And like, even if that catching up is sending them a letter in the mail, you don't have time to do that usually in a busy, busy season, which is often when people are probably busy too.
Yes,
So the good news is when it's quiet in real estate, that's usually when people are quieter at home. So that's a good time to reach out.
agreed. I can't agree more.
Yeah.
Now, if you can share, what would you say is the biggest misconceptions that homeowners have have about their home and the real estate market today?
Well, like in a downward market, it's a really challenge for real estate agents to explain this to their clients. And I mean, especially if you haven't done it for a period of time. So I mean, like in downtimes, I'm very thankful that I've been in this business for a period of time because I'm able to have these conversations. I'm able to watch the market. And I'm able to have patience. So telling people that in a downward market, your house is worth less today than it was yesterday. And like you're not listing your house today, you're listing your house in a week or a month. And that means it's worth much less than it was a month and a half or 2 months ago.
Yeah.
And in a market where for the most part for the last 2018 to 20 years, we've seen a couple dips, not many. I mean, like we had a dip before COVID, but which was very temporary. We had a dip in like 2008, 2009,
Hmm.
relatively temporary. We've had a couple little dips here and there where like we've had we call them soft landings and take back offs. And at the end of the day, this market here is different. So this one here is lasting longer. True recessionary type behaviors. Now, I don't care what the newspaper says, and I understand what a definition is of a recession. When I see real estate prices dropping for the better part of like a year and a half straight,
Which is what we're experiencing, right?
absolutely.
Has
I
it
mean, like
been
we're
doing
we're like I mean, from the peak of COVID, if we really had to look at this,
it?
in the peak of COVID, we went up by 25 to 30% across almost all markets. Well,
Hmm.
now we're back down to 25 or 30% off, which means we're back down where we probably would have been if we started in COVID or at the beginning of COVID. But not only that, we're down another 5 to 7%.
Hmm.
So we're below 2018, 2019 numbers going into COVID. So we had a peak and now we're down, but we're down lower than where we started. That's
Yeah,
a down. And it's been downward since COVID ended, what, a year, 2.5 years ago.
yeah.
So it's been coming down because of the peaks in COVID from everybody moving out of the city, moving into
Yes.
towns and whatnot. But then moving on, and then the amount of overbuilding we did, the amount of immigration we had in Canada, and how that's really come to a halt. So looking at the boom and then the bust.
Mhm.
And now we're not in recovery yet. We're still dropping. There's a sense of recovery around the corner, but I think the recovery that's around the corner is where prices come down to a level where people feel comfortable that it might be at the bottom. It's hard for sellers to accept this because four to
Very
five,
hard.
well, 4 to 5 houses aren't selling right now. So there's
Yes.
there's only one buyer for every 5 houses, and the
Mhm.
one that sells is the one that's aggressively pricing it correctly.
I guess it's hard for sellers to accept it because if they bought during the peak, selling right now, they're losing money.
Yeah, if I was a first-time home buyer buying in the peak,
Yeah.
and now all of a sudden I look at my house that I'm living in and I'm making my monthly payments, and I got into the market, but my house has come down $250,000 and I put $250,000 into it, it'd
Yeah,
be pretty depressing.
it is. It is.
And
And
I think
you can see why it's so challenging to for them to accept it, right?
absolutely. At the same time, if you've owned your house for 50 years and you saw it go from $22,000 in 1978 to $1,000,001 in 2025, and yeah, it's not worth $1,500,000 that it was in 2022, but we're still way up from what you bought it from. I
Yes.
find I find like I find the patience for those people is harder to accept because they've already come so far. And yes, they've seen the market go up and down, but they've also been watching the news and they've seen their house go up. And I mean, like this is not a market, especially in an international type marketplace we're in nowadays, where things can change. Canada is a well sought after place to live and the GTA, etc., and it's true.
Mhm.
But I
Yes.
mean, when the entire world is kind of on like a contraction, we're not, we can't be that egotistical to think that doesn't affect us. It does.
It it definitely we're so close to the US. Whatever happens to them happens here too. So like
Yeah, and I mean, and
it's
even
like
in
immediate.
Yeah, there used to be a saying back in the day that we were always 6 months behind the auto industry.
Hmm.
And I mean, like when I say back in the day, I mean like this is like just from me listening to people that have been in the business for 50 years, 60 years. If the real estate market is 6 months behind the auto market, it means the auto market, when it crashes, the real estate market's usually right behind it. So I mean, like the auto market crashed and it's still crashing. The auto market, when it comes back, will be 6 months behind that.
Mm.
So if we start seeing like automotive pick back up because people will make big expenses in their life, in my opinion, one of them can be a car. The
Yeah.
other one could be a house. People buy cars more frequently than they buy houses.
Yeah.
But if the car industry is not doing well, housing is
Mm.
doing worse.
Yeah.
And in order for housing to do better, the auto industry has to take off. And that's just a matter of how comfortable people feel about their current expenses, their current income levels, their current debt levels. So, not that we have to try and push the auto industry to get back on, get their engines lit again. It's more we just have to watch that market, and then we'll know that we're not too far behind it. So, if you're a gambling man, you see the auto industry take back off, buy real estate, or if the real estate, or if the auto market's down, buy real estate.
Yes.
If people have a long time to wait, this isn't the time to sell. It's a good time to buy. If
It's a
you're moving,
great time to buy.
if you're moving laterally and you're buying and selling at the exact same time, then
Yeah.
there's no difference. You're selling in a low market, but you're buying in a low market.
Yes.
It's easy. But if you're selling and never buying again, this isn't a
Mhm.
great market. If you're buying and investing for the rest of your life, it's a great market.
Yeah, definitely. Now it's time to kind of like, if you have the money to do that volume buy, because it's a great
Yeah.
investment right now.
And interest rates are low. Like
Yeah. Yes.
bank rates are low. You could lock in for a 5 or a 7 year mortgage right now for around about 5%. And there was a time when 5% was considered a very good mortgage. During COVID, we saw percents drop down to like
Yeah.
2.39s and stuff.
Yes. It was
And I mean,
almost
like,
free.
almost free. At the same time, like they bundled what was free until you realize that you're paying $250,000 more for a property that was going to fall by 250 in a year's time.
Yes.
So I mean, like everything has a cost. But right
Mhm.
now, real estate's relatively cheap and interest rates are low. You could buy in for 5 to 7 years and predict your entire future for the next 5 to 7 years and own versus rent or invest, whatever the case may be. So yeah, it's a great time. And I mean, a lot of people are scared because they think, well, what if it drops more? Yeah, but at the same time, if you get in at a good mortgage rate that you can afford,
Mhm.
you have a house that you're proud of, you pull the trigger and you keep moving.
Yeah. And with investment, right? Like it's always a long game, right? Like it's there's no quick money making schemes when it comes to investment. So,
No, the flips are
yeah.
gone. I mean, like high end flips
Yes.
or new builds, they're still always there. Like they're custom
Mhm.
built for people that have enormous amount of wealth that they'll buy what they want when they want and not care because money doesn't really necessarily make a difference.
Yes.
The cheaper alternatives to like maybe someone going in and flipping a townhouse. Well, I mean, to flip a townhouse now, you're gonna have to put 100, 150 grand into it, and that house, that property's not gonna go up 100, 150 because
Yeah.
everything around it is not going up by that. So, like, flipping usually happens in upward markets, and downward markets is very challenging because the cost of even lumber or contractors is still really high,
Yes.
and a lot of that stuff doesn't come down.
No, it's come down a little bit, but not to the extent that people would say like that the talk about affordable housing, like
Yeah, I know. For
no,
the word affordable housing,
like it's
it's a
crazy.
cliche. It's a cliche thing.
Yeah.
Affordable housing means how many rental units can the government put into the economy?
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, but
It's
the
not.
government is still dealing with supplies issue, right?
Sure
Raw
they are.
material
Sure they are.
supplies, which
Sure
has
they are.
not come down.
Sure, and like the cost of labor. I feel like there was this article that I've mentioned a few times to people about. I think it was in the New York Times and the New Yorker, and it was talking about how stubborn Canadians are with regards to accepting their prices have come down. So we're one of they call it it's sticky, like it's an
Mm.
economic term of stickiness, and
Yes.
we are sticking to our previous prices. And
Hmm.
as because we are proud of them, or we're unacceptance, or we're stubborn. I don't know what it is, but Canada has a hard time accepting it. The rest of the world will probably actually take off a little bit faster sometimes than Canada because they'll literally react. So I mean, if you go down to like certain states, they'll accept the fact that the markets have come down. They'll drop the prices and they'll get the economy going
Yes.
again. People will do that on like a local market. in certain places in the US. They call it Florida. Like everybody's just started selling their condos for nothing because they accept it. They just started selling. It
Yes.
creates buyers. Are they losing money? For sure they are, but they know they'll make it up on the end. In Canada, they stated like the stubbornness is more along the lines of like we have a hard time accepting that our money can really disappear that quickly. And it's an artificial money in the sense that uh, it was created by demand, and you have a demand of people that were coming into this country at a large rate.
Hmm.
Like when I first got in this business, I think Canada was at 24 million people. Now it's at like 44. So I mean, a million a year. That's a lot of people.
That is a lot of people.
And I think a lot of the people that are coming into the country, they weren't necessarily allowed to. They had to come in with money.
Hmm.
They wouldn't come to Canada unless they could afford it.
Right.
They like the idea of living in Canada where it's a safe place, etc. But you have that many people coming in, well, then you got to start building houses. So like the
Hmm.
real estate bubble, uh, unless you could grow at that rate forever, it was bound to burst,
Yes.
and it's burst. So we'll see how far down it goes. I think we're getting close. We won't know how close we are until we start seeing like the similar house all sell for the same amount of money for a reasonable length of time. So like
Hmm.
if on a street where a house sells for 1 million and it doesn't dip below and it all stays around 1 million, and if not maybe starts going back up, then we're recovering.
Yeah.
But if we still see like yesterday the house down the street the same as yours sold for 1 million and now you're selling for 960,
Hmm.
we're still going down. So
Yeah.
when the price is stabilized, that we'll know we're at the bottom. But if you wait for the bottom, you never find it.
I know it'll keep going. So yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
now you did mention that there are less buyers now. Having said that, what are they looking for? What are buyers looking for when they're
Well,
in a position to buy today?
with a lot of people now, they don't have cash, and I don't know if anybody's had cash for a long time. Interest rates, I don't care if they're at 7%, 2%, 9%. Uh, it's reasonably inexpensive to lease or to loan, to lease, to pay back mortgages, you name it, to borrow money. If you borrow the right amount, then what you need that isn't outside of your lifestyle and or your affordability, it's relatively cheap. But right now, people don't have cash.
Hmm.
So we've been banking on loans and borrowing to build and maintain our houses and do renovations, etc. But now that that is getting harder, banks are getting tighter and stricter. We don't have any cash to even start the project. We don't necessarily have any cash to buy houses, even on our first time purchase. Realistically, people are looking to buy stuff that is done, sewn up tight,
Move in ready.
turnkey, all these different phrases. Because once they buy and they know that they can afford the mortgage, which is the most important part of buying the property, they don't necessarily have any extra money.
Hmm.
People often go to the top of their range of affordability.
Hmm.
And I would suggest people don't, but they do.
Yeah.
Uh, they know, okay, what's my max I can buy? 1.2 million? Okay, let's look at anything below that. And it's like, does that make sense? Because in a rainy day, do you have enough money to pay for this mortgage? Do you have enough to not ask for extra funds from a bank? Do you have enough to not ask for money from mom and dad? Do you have enough that you can feel good when you go to sleep at night that you might not, maybe you have a job problem, maybe you have health concerns. Can you afford it? So
Hmm.
a lot of people need to really grasp that, and but a lot of that comes down to they're looking for houses that don't need any work.
Hmm.
They don't need roof, they don't need windows. I mean, people will probably be okay with interior flooring because maybe they can replace that, but the big ticket items, people are scared of them, and if you have a house that's for sale that needs those big ticket items, they're not selling.
What are those big ticket items beyond the roofs and windows?
I I mean, it could like one of the big ones that a lot of people don't talk about is water. Like, you have foundation leaks; those are huge. A
Hmm.
lot of the time, honest to God, it literally has to do with the
A
fact.
lot of stuff that's hidden behind the walls, like you can't
Sure.
see.
And grading, like I mean, like you're grading around your house, keeping the water getting away from your house,
Hmm.
is so simple. Like you have dirt a little bit higher, and then it goes to a little lower. The
Hmm.
water goes where it's lower. Gravity is a thing, and a lot of people have like little like call like settlements around their house where the water will constantly go. They'll come out of your eaves troughs, they'll come out of your downspouts, they'll go down your foundation, go through the cracks, maybe even crack it. Uh, get into the basement, put water in the basement, and you have moisture, maybe you have mold, etc. That is the biggest nuisance when it could be the easiest fix of just having soil or rock around your property, right?
Mhm.
Around the exterior of your house. So
Yeah.
that's a big ticket item. People get scared of moisture, which
Yes.
for
And
good reason.
foundation.
I'm more concerned about foundation than I'm concerned about anything else. A
Mhm.
roof, put a new roof on.
Yeah.
Foundation, you don't know how deep it is, where though. You try and
Mhm.
find a water leak in a basement. It's almost impossible. Uh, Windows, I mean, like they get cloudy when the seals are broken, but the seal doesn't necessarily make them less efficient. Maybe you can't see them, they don't look as pretty, but that's not as important as foundational stuff.
Yeah.
Uh, Furnaces, electrical can be a big deal because I mean, like that's your safety.
Mhm.
Furnaces, I mean, you need heat. If you don't have heat, you can't live in Canada.
No.
An air conditioner is probably more of a, I mean, like in certain times it is a luxury. It is, I mean, we're getting hotter, but there's always a way to live without an air conditioner.
Not
Uh,
this summer. Not this past
no,
summer.
no,
We
not this
needed
summer.
it.
I mean, like driveways, landscaping, pretty cheap. I mean, like, are they mandatory? If they're running water towards your house, they are the mandatory. But if they're not, you can probably do a lot of that stuff yourself. So the big ticket items would be the ones that you're probably not comfortable doing yourself,
Mhm.
and they can be relatively invasive. To dig up a pit around your house or a trench to waterproof it, the spin-off of those expenses is incredible. You got to relay patios, rebuild decks. You got to wait for it to settle before you can even do anything. Like
Mhm.
it's a big deal. So people are being very careful with their money, knowing where they're going to spend it. And like now they're comparing. We have a reasonable amount of houses on the market where people can compare. So four to five houses sell. The one that does is typically either one priced perfectly because people can incorporate the work they got to do to it, or it's the one that doesn't need anything.
Yeah. Like everything that you're saying speaks to like regular maintenance, right? If you maintain your home regularly, you shouldn't come across these major issues. But what we see often is that these homes are not being maintained, and then when they go to sell, they feel like they need to rush and get everything done, and then it's just too big, too much, and then they don't do it. Like, would you agree?
Yeah, I think a lot of people. I mean, like, I still am to meet a client. Well, there's a few out there for sure, but to meet a client that puts away $100, no, $300 a month
Hmm.
for rainy day, and rainy day is when your air conditioner is gone, your furnace is
Yeah.
gone. You're
Yeah.
not usually give warning on these things.
No, and it
You're-
usually happens at the most inappropriate times.
yeah, we know roofs last 15 years, 20, 25, all that stuff's baloney, but 15 years.
Hmm.
And a roof costs like 6 to 10 grand, depending on how big your roof is. So I
Hmm.
mean, like you should save like $500 to $600 a year for it, but who does? And I mean, like they find a way, and then when they find a way, they've gotten used to their line of credit, and before you know it, they need to take out more.
Yeah.
So yes, in reality, are these maintenance issues? For sure. But I mean, like they're maintenance on a financial side of things. You need to put the money aside for when
Yeah.
it's time to use it. Uh, but a lot of people don't.
Yes.
They get very used to their lifestyles, and they don't necessarily pay these things down. Like sometimes put people on a payment plan. That can actually make a big difference because then at least they're accountable to pay it down. When
Hmm.
people throw things on line of credits, you'd be surprised how many people have the line of credits just continue to grow.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just grow. And I mean, like,
Very.
and like, I get it, but they just keep paying more money on interest. And
Yes.
I mean, that costs more money. And you think about the amount of money you put on interest. If you
Mm.
saved all that in the get-go and put that towards your rainy day fund, you probably wouldn't have that big of a line of credit.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah,
It's financial, right? It's
sure.
financial literacy.
And banks are guilty of it too. Like banks, they were handing out
Oh yeah.
HELOCs, home equity line of credits, and they still do. And
Yes.
like they were because they were banking on your house going up in value. So
Mm-hmm.
as you paid down your mortgage, your house would go up in value. Well, your house would have more equity,
Mm-hmm.
but they also knew that your house would go up in value. So that if they ever had to take it back via foreclosure or any kind of debt repayment, they would do okay.
Hmm.
because the market would go up, they'd sell it for more money, they pay off the debts. Well, in a downward market, the home equity line of credit is not nearly as available. And I mean, like they're protecting themselves, but it's funny how you really need to, they do need to open these floodgates a little bit because I
Hmm.
think it's one of these economic, and we studied this thing back in the day called Keynesian economics, which is where if you restrict people's money during downtimes, downtimes are longer and harder to get out of. They do need to free up money, which I think the government's starting to do by investing in like affordable housing, rental housing. The banks are strict because we have good banking, which got us out of a lot of problems in Canada.
Yes.
At the same time, like, they do need to free up a little bit of availability because it does get people to spend. So interest rates come down. Maybe line of credits, they drop some of the rules on affordability or their ratios. When they start doing this, they start to get people back in the mood of spending. And it's not that people are spending outside of their comfort zone. It's you have to spend to get the economy going again.
Yeah. Yes.
And I think we're seeing it.
Yes.
Uh, and I think that we'll probably incur it. I think it'll be next year, so 2027, we'll probably have a recovery. And I think
Fingers
that
crossed.
yeah, and a recovery in my mind, honest God, is just that soft landing. Like, just get to stabilization. People feel
Hmm.
comfortable when it's stabilized, it's one in, one out, and that's a perfect world. I mean, like if it's the days where we were having 25 offers on a property, that's chaos,
Yes.
and it's not predictable, and
No.
it's not sustainable. If we can get to one in, one out, then it's a lot more predictable, right?
Yeah. So, well, having said that, like, what are your thoughts on like holding out for multiple offers? I still
Uh,
see that. I still see
yeah,
that
yeah.
happening a lot right now. Like more in the city, maybe, but like, is that still a good strategy?
Every property is different, but for the most part, no, it's not a
Yeah.
good strategy.
Yeah.
The people in this market don't want to be bidding. I see
No.
people are
They don't
walking
want
away
to be
from,
fooled.
well, they also walk away from properties when they find out there's another offer on the table.
Hmm.
It might be their dream home. They go, I'm not getting into competition.
Yeah.
And they don't want to get in competition because they're afraid of paying too much. And
Yes.
it's not, they might even only pay like a couple grand more. But the mentality in their head is, I don't want to pay too much.
Yeah.
And they also don't, the trust in the market has kind of gone away a little bit. There was a lot of foolery going on where people were sending in ghost bids, which we've
Oh,
kind of,
really?
oh yeah, yeah, people would,
Oh, I never heard that.
yeah, sadly enough, some real estate agents or even the owners of the properties would get their friends or family to put an offer in when they
Oh,
got an offer to try and drive other offers up. It
oh
happens.
gosh.
So I mean, like people lose trust for multiple offers, and I don't blame them. And it all comes down to trust. I mean, like in this industry, working with someone that you trust is more important than even trusting the industry. Because
Yeah.
if you work with someone you trust and they've been in it for a reasonable period of time, and I don't want to downplay people that are new in the business, but I mean, like you're going to go to a surgeon that's been the business for 30 or 40 years versus the surgeon that's brand new. Truth.
Yes.
Uh, and I mean, like they can learn, and I'll try them out, but maybe not when it's like life or death, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
But like a lot of people when they're selling a house, it is life or death, and when it comes down to trust, people will know
Yeah.
and they'll trust your instincts.
Yeah.
If you feel something sour because you've been in this business long enough, it's probably sour. If it's too good to be true, it's 100% too good to be true. The best price and the highest price is almost, I mean, like not always, but a lot of the time, it's not necessarily the best offer. So, in trying to talk to your clients about this, you get an offer that's $10,000 above the other. You
Mhm.
know the other one are a teacher and a nurse, predictable jobs, and the other person might have put down more money, but maybe he owns a car dealership of all things, and that's not a great market to be in right now. And you say, who's going to buy this house? Whose
Mhm.
market's going to change quickly, or pocketbook's going to change quickly between now and 2 months from now when we close?
Yeah.
And like having these discussions and educating is so important.
So,
And knowing this, and I mean, like a lot of the time, sadly enough, in order for us to know this, we've been burned. I mean, like real estate agents,
yeah.
in order to know things, you've been burned. A good real estate agent's made like not necessarily mistakes, they've learned along the way. And
Yes.
when they've learned along the way, they can pass that knowledge on because they don't want to see it happen again. So getting someone that you trust that has been
Mhm.
in the industry is more important now than ever. So when you ask me, how is this kind of a market? I'm busy because I've been in the business long enough that people know that I know what I'm talking about. If you're new in the business, it's very challenging. If you've been in this business a very long time and you got lackadaisical about it, it's probably very challenging.
Hmm.
But the people that are like hustling and working every day and they're in tune with what's going on and they know the prices, they know the economy, and they know the local markets, they're doing just fine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
agreed. Yeah, and I see both cases, right?
Yeah.
Just as you do, and but it just still it surprises me when I see people still using that holding out for multiple offer strategy in today's market. Like it, I know it doesn't work, but people
No.
still doing
I
it.
mean, like you like there is certain moments in the commercial world of real estate. Uh, Sometimes we will. I mean, like sometimes you want to see people put together their own proposal. They'll
Hmm.
do their own mathematics because depending on the property, maybe you're building houses. You don't necessarily know what kind of product they want to build, and you don't necessarily know how many houses they want to put on the property.
Hmm.
You will see a little bit more of like that $1 offer price, and then they'll go about their due diligence.
Hmm.
In the real estate side of things, if you see $1. It's usually only for about a week and it backfires, and then you see them put the house back up on at a real price. But then
Yes.
the real price is probably astronomically too high that it's ridiculous that they never sell because they've been advised to go low, then they're
Hmm.
advised to go high, and then it's 4 months later and they still haven't sold because their house is stale.
Yeah. I just saw one recently, actually. Um, it was listed at no, just 1.1 million, and I was surprised that it was listed so low, and then it was taken off the market and it was relisted for under a million. That didn't move, and now it's back on the market at 1.398, I think, something like that, which is probably more what they were looking for, right? But like that strategy didn't work.
No, the strategy that I do is like a bullseye. It's like aim towards the middle as much as you possibly can.
Hmm.
People want a little bit of negotiation room, which right now people want
Yeah.
because buyers will negotiate. So I'd say like you take your goal price or what your realistic price is, and maybe you can narrow it down to like a $50,000 range.
Hmm.
Maybe you're at like 865 to 900. Well, then your perfect price is probably 899.
Hmm.
People say, no, I want to go 929 because I want to have adjustment. I want to get 900. It's like, well, the high end of that price range up to 900 is the one needle in a haystack that's one in a thousand buyers. Are you going to put your eggs in the one in a thousand buyer basket, or are you going to put it in the majority?
Yeah.
So I understand that people want to go to the higher end of their range, but if the market is telling you after 2 weeks because you have no showings or you have lots of showings and no offers, you're overpriced.
Yeah.
And it's literally as short as a week and a half to 2 weeks. 2 weekends and you don't have an offer on a standard house that's maybe a townhouse or a single detached home, you're overpriced.
Even today?
The good ones are selling. And in a downward market,
Hmm.
if you don't sell today, it's going to be worth less tomorrow. So you're better to get your chips off the table.
Hmm.
The longer you leave them on the table, the less money you're going to make. You're going
Yeah.
to like if people don't look at it like that. You have to look at it in a downward market that we're going down a spiral. And do you want to get out of there before you go down the drain? Like, how deep do you want to go? And how stubborn do you want to be?
Yeah.
And I can appreciate that it's very hard for people to accept, but it's a true reality in a downward market. A lot of people have not experienced this in
Yeah.
20 years, 30 years, since the early 90s. People back then would appreciate it. They go, yeah, when everything goes up, must come down. If you
Hmm.
bought stocks, they go up, they come down. People that don't buy stocks or that haven't been around that long, I can appreciate the fact that they don't know this. But if you get taught this, I mean, like I promise you, you'll save money because you'll get out of the market sooner.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's not like run for the hills kind of stuff, but I mean, like if you want to sell and get on with your goals, price it appropriately
Yeah.
and move so you can finish your goals. Like get out of town and do what you want to do.
I love that advice because I think that that's what sellers really need to hear now, for
Yeah,
sure.
and how motivated are you? If 1 out of 5 houses is selling, 2 out of 5 are literally just testing the market. This isn't a market to test.
Yeah, this is not the market to do that.
I mean, it's not. And the other 2 out of 5 are probably misguided or so.
Oops.
If 1 out of 5
Hmm.
are selling, 2 out of 5 are testing, and the other 2 out of 5 are misguided or too late. Like when you have those people that are like, okay, we should really adjust the price. They wait a week to adjust the price, then they adjust the price. Well, you're a week late now.
Hmm.
Like when you get advised to drop your price, take the advice.
Yes.
and it's not motivated real estate, it's just trying to make bucks. They know that you're not going to be able to sell.
Hmm.
And your goal is to move. Maybe you want to downsize, maybe you want to upsize, maybe you want to buy something. It doesn't matter. When people say you're not selling, get the agent you trust and believe them.
Yes, I couldn't agree more. I say that to clients all the time. Listen to your realtor, follow their advice because they know the market best and they want to help you sell. I totally get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially, I'll tell you, like the hardest one that's people don't understand right now. And I mean, like a lot of this come down like staging is a huge deal for like these type of houses, but you look at the luxury market,
Hmm.
and like the luxury market is the first to get hit
Oh, yes.
and the last to come back.
Yeah.
And it's also the first to get hit and the stubbornest owners. They've seen their house worth God knows what, a couple $1 million more than it is now.
Yes.
So like when we're talking, like someone says, "Oh, my house is down by 50,000." That's a lot. Well, what if you said it was down by 2 million?
2 million.
Two
Yes.
million. And it's
Yes.
true because their house was up by 2 million. Now it's down by 2 million. That's a big number.
Yeah.
So when we go to set those houses up,
Mhm.
uh, I would say 1 in 30 sell in the luxury market. So
I'm
that kind of
surprised
market.
that because people with money still have money.
They do, but they still have a house to sell. And if
Yeah.
they're not selling, how can they buy?
Yeah.
So when and especially at that number, so when it comes to like staging and whatnot, and working with yourself, we've the luxury market, you have to market these things perfectly. And like
Mhm.
the price is so important, and houses become stale very quickly.
Yes. Two
Like
weeks.
2 weeks. I mean, a luxury home, unless you're owning like a 40-acre horse farm on the top of a hill that you're looking for a lot of money for, and that one person that is going to buy it isn't even around yet. Maybe they'll be around next year. Maybe. You're not going to give that one away. But I mean, in a cookie cutter type, even luxury marketplace, you get like a subdivision that's maybe worth a little bit more money. If you're not selling, you don't have that rare property. You still have a relatively cookie cutter property. And I mean, $1 million these days in the GTA is nothing. It's a townhouse.
No, I know, I know. A million
Yeah.
doesn't go very far these days.
No,
I
and I
know.
mean,
I did work on a property, a horse farm,
yeah,
and they had a price of adjustments. I think like almost 12 million.
yeah.
That's a huge
But
number.
yeah, they probably mispriced it at the get-go. I mean, if you think about if our market has dropped 10%, and I think it has since January,
Hmm.
uh, if our market's dropped 10% since January, on $1 million, it's 100 grand. On 3 million, it's 300,000.
Yeah.
You keep going up, that 10% gets bigger. And if anything, in the luxury market, it probably gets wider. So, I mean, it's harder for people to accept because the numbers are so big, but the percentage is a percent.
Yes.
Like
Yes.
your percentage is a percentage. Do the math. I don't need to tell you the numbers, just look at the percentage.
Yes.
When people can accept that and they look at data and they look at stats,
Yeah.
they usually sell.
Yes.
It depends how motivated you are. Like, you want to sell or do you need to sell? Big difference.
Huge. Huge. Now you
Yeah.
did bring up staging, and so I let's move over to real estate and marketing. Now I have had the honor and the privilege to support you through the years, and I love your perspective on why you think staging is important because you are one of those the few I think in the industry who really uses staging for your properties, whether it's the luxury ones or even like I've worked with you on some properties that are not in that luxury market.
Yeah.
So, but you've always incorporated staging. Tell me why that is the case for you.
Well, I mean, like you come to acceptance of of how to sell a property. And I mean, like some real estate agents sell a property by getting a listing signed, and then they put a sign on the lawn and
Yes.
they cross their
Set
fingers
it and forget
and they pray.
it.
I mean, I would rather. I mean, like I don't do that. I haven't done that since I first got in the business. And it didn't last very long when you start to realize that that doesn't sell a house. So
Mhm.
you have to, and marketing these days is not building advertising campaigns on Instagram.
Mhm.
Marketing is not Facebook advertising, Google advertising. I mean, like stuff like that doesn't necessarily sell houses. because you can't even find the right person. Like, how do you put that in front of the right person? It's almost impossible.
Yeah.
So, in reality, your marketing is all the work you do up front. So using that analogy of like painting a room, and you could tape the ceilings, tape the doorways, tape the trim, drop sheets down on the ground. By the time you get that bucket of paint out and you pour it and you roll it, you're done.
Hmm.
So the prep is everything. When it comes to getting your house ready, your marketing is your prep. So you meet with the people, do initial consultations, see what the benefits are of the house, see what the cons are of the house. Try to remedy the cons. Get people like yourself staging in. Set the stage, meaning like get the house ready, declutter, clean this, clean that, replace this, replace that. Then before you know it, you get the appropriate size furniture into the space. Maybe the rooms are painted, maybe they're not. The amount of money that we put into staging these days is expensive.
Yes.
Um, and I mean, like, and I charge still typically 5% for mortgage or for real estate services, and then 2.5 and 2.5, and the real estate agents on the listing side of things. We support the bills of staging, but we know that selling houses and having listings actually get you more houses, so we're okay doing that, and it also sells your house. So
Mhm.
back in the day, we used to put a quarter ad in the newspaper for $1,600, sometimes a week, sometimes a month, depending how big it
Wow.
was. And the amount of money we used to spend in newspaper, that would justify us charging 5%. Okay. Now, newspapers are dead.
Yes.
But our 5% fees that we've been looking for originally are not.
Mhm.
And the 5%, I know it's hard for people to justify this, but trust me, the real estate advertising world has picked up on it. And
Mhm.
they know that there's a reasonable amount of money out there to be made. So when I first got in this business, a virtual tour cost $100. Now it's 1,000. Uh,
Virtual
stage,
staging?
no, virtual photo, like
Oh,
photos.
oh, okay, okay.
So that's 10 times the price.
Yeah.
Houses have not gone up by 10 times.
Yeah.
Then like staging wasn't even a thing. Very rare. It was in the luxury market, if anything.
Mhm.
And it was almost like you were working with your furniture store down the street and you were trying to get them to put their furniture in there and then they put their signs on the table. Maybe they sell a couch with the house, right?
Yeah.
Then staging became a high profile item. And I think that realistically it became a very high profile item because the amount of money that we were putting into newspapers fell off to next to zero. A lot of money was sure went into websites and all this jazz, but the money that I took from my advertising dollars of newspapers, I put into staging. So, and I put that in there because I want to see the house sell for more and I want to
Mhm.
see it sell faster.
Yeah.
There's no one in this world that would deny selling a house faster for more.
Yes.
Faster for more. Like you use this, and I talk about staging in the sense of if you had a used car you're going to take and sell, are you better to leave it dirty and not vacuumed out and then put a
Never.
price? No. You shine it up, you clean it out, and
Yes.
then you sell it. If you're
Yes.
bringing it to a dealer and it's filthy and not vacuumed versus cleaned up and shined and you name it, it could
Yeah.
be a $5,000 difference. It could be a 15% difference.
Yes.
And I can tell you with staging, I've noticed in my life that staging typically is between 7 and 10% more money for a house, and usually sells in at least
You're right on the ball.
half the time. So I mean, a staged house typically in a regular market will be half the time amount of time on the market and sell for 10% more. So I mean, staging costs anywhere between like say 2,000 to 7,000 depending on the property, and then your monthly carrying costs are maybe another 2,000 to 4,000 depending on the property. It's like I can get I could do 4 weeks of newspaper ads for the same price back in the day. Well, now
I
that
didn't know
price,
that. That's crazy.
now that price goes into staging.
Hmm.
And the neat, back in the day, God only knows, but maybe your house when it was on the front of the newspaper, maybe it did sell for 10% more, and maybe it did sell for half the amount of time. But that's now staging, in my opinion. Staging, of course, videos and photos, good photos,
Hmm.
they're the most important. Having a room look appropriate in a photo with regards to size and dimension is key.
Yes.
So having all those elements come together, yeah, you'll make more money for your home. You'll
Hmm.
sell it faster so you can move on with your goals, and your house doesn't get stale. It's a no-brainer for me. So even when clients say I don't want to do it, I say you're not paying for it. I'll pay for it. I'll sweat it, and because I believe in it.
Yeah.
Um, And I mean, it allows me to sell homes faster and for more money for my clients, and I can sell more houses more frequently. And for me, it's a win-win too. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, I thank you for that.
yeah. Well, thank you.
Well, now tell me then, what are your thoughts on virtual staging? Because definitely virtual staging is here and it's getting easier and less expensive, especially with AI. And I do see more and more agents, especially in today's market, trying to, you know, cut back on their marketing budget and whatnot and going towards virtual staging. What are your thoughts?
There's a time and a place. There's rules and regulations that I mean, like I'm not super wise in them because I don't do it. But there's definitely uh, there's definitely an artistic or an imaginary, I guess, benefit to virtual staging. So, I if you were going to take a room that's completely blank and you put some virtual staging in it, sure, it does give imagination. So when they see it in the photo, it's imaginatory and they can kind of imagine living in it. But when they go through the actual property, it's empty.
Yes.
And the going through the property is more important than the photos. Now, the photos might give a bit of a curiosity or
Hmm.
tweak the imagination, so that's good. But you also can't like with virtual staging, you can't put like lights in corners where there's no plugs. You can't put lights in the ceiling because you're now showing that there's lights in the ceiling. Maybe there's not even electrical in the ceiling.
Hmm.
There's limitations. I mean, like there's a very big limitation. Now, if you're going to do a commercial building, I find it actually works really well for commercial. If I have a big empty space, then
Hmm.
I'll literally I'll put in there. I did this for a building. I've got a building for sale right now where uh, I've said it could be a perfect dance studio. So I put a dance studio with AI.
Hmm.
It could also be a dance hall, a bowling alley. I don't care. I can put those. Then people when they go through they'll click and they'll think of imagination, right?
Hmm.
And I think imagination works really well with commercial. I think with residential, it can be a bit more of a dupe. Like,
Yeah.
and it depends because I mean, every house is so uniquely different. You could put a kitchen in any room, but are you really going to put that island in the right spot?
Yeah.
Like, what if you mess up the virtual staging completely?
I know. And the scale is what gets me.
Yeah, like what are you gonna put down a 6-person eating table or
Yeah.
island in a kitchen that can't even suit an island? And then when people come in the door, they look at the house and all they talk about is how poor the or the AI staging was, that
Hmm.
they don't even look at the rest of the house.
Yes.
Like there's some serious contemplation here that goes on with deciding about doing digital or AI staging for sure.
I always use the analogy or the comparison of virtual staging to like online dating, right? Like I've never
Oh
done
yeah.
online dating, I've never entered the online dating world, but like
Yeah.
I hear stories, right? You know, you see this perfect photo of this perfect person, and
Sure.
then you meet up for coffee, and they
Yeah.
don't look like anything like their photo.
Yeah, and all you can think about is the accent. They don't even speak English really, and you're like, what? Yeah. I mean, like, at the end of the day, I yeah, in-person touching, sitting in a room where like the couch is lined up perfectly that you get that right like sunset in your eyes, or maybe the morning breakfast sun. Having the staging set for stuff like that is where people can realistically see themselves living in a house. So, uh, if you already have the house, and we've had a few where I've brought you through, and there's nothing to do,
Hmm. Yeah. And
like
I'm
nothing.
honest with you about it.
Yeah, I mean, like there's nothing to do. Like the tips are like, put away this, put away that, clean up this,
Yeah.
clean up that, take
That's
some
it.
stuff out. Those houses, I mean, those people clearly are, they have like, it's not even like an architectural or an interior design mentality. I think
Mhm.
those people just get it. Like they
Yes.
lived in that house long enough that they know where to put that chair, that couch.
Yes.
They know the right spot to not have glares. They know the spot to make it look big. So you
Mhm.
do get them. I mean, they're probably like 1 in 10, 1 in 20.
Yes.
Uh, Oversized furniture. We all
Yeah.
love oversized furniture for sinking into, but they don't
Yeah.
necessarily sell houses because the
No.
room looks so tiny.
No. Yes.
Yeah.
Agree.
And the
Agree.
people that are open to it. The people that are open to it take it like to say, okay, guys, we need to get that huge couch out of here. And
Yes.
they say, well, it's my couch. And it's like, I get it. But you're moving, right? Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Well, let's move that early.
Yes. You have to do
And
it
then
anyway.
you're moving it, and we get a storage unit for $300 for two
Mhm.
months. You're moving anyway. Let's get it out of here and make more money. Get
Yes.
your home sold faster, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome advice. Now, the 2026 is really just around the corner. What advice would you give to sellers if you're thinking about entering the spring market?
Yeah, they got to start prepping now, without a doubt.
What would you say, like 2 to 3 months of prep time?
Yeah, typically, yeah, 2 to 3 months is nice. If you have the time to do it. I mean, like some people buy on a whim, and I mean, if you buy on a whim because that perfect dream home came up down the street and like you just jumped on it, well, then you better hurry up and figure out your plan. If uh, if you have time and you can afford both properties, then you have time. If you can't afford both properties, you got to hurry up.
Yeah.
This market, it is a buyer's market, in my opinion. So people that do buy, they can get a very good house for a very good deal, but you have to sell. So in a
Mhm.
buyer's market, selling's hard. So I'd say selling is more important than buying right now. I know that people don't know if they're going to be able to find the house they want to buy, but in a buyer's market, you need to be for sale. You need to be ready. You need to show
Mhm.
perfectly. You need to have all those little jobs around the house done. The trim, the paint, the chips, the scratches, the replacement of that countertop that you were thinking about doing, the deck, the staining. I don't care. All of it needs to be done.
Mhm.
And in reality, that stuff takes time and money,
Mhm.
or sometimes more time than money, and sometimes more money than time. It depends on what your challenge is. So I would say people need to get going on it. This is November 26th. Before you know it, you'll put this out beginning of December. Christmas holidays are around the corner. Then it's January 10th.
Yes.
So January 10th comes along and you're going to start, and that's a month too late. So if I was me, I would encourage people to like, especially with like people that celebrate Christmas and whatnot, and you're taking those boxes and bins out of your basement. I would start saying like, if you're planning on moving and you really want to move and you're gonna move,
Mhm.
start getting rid of stuff, start figuring out what you can move into storage, start getting ready. And that would be getting ready as soon as like tomorrow, make a plan and sit down and contact your real estate agent. Maybe it's the one you worked with before, maybe it's not, maybe it's a new one, maybe it's a recommendation, a referral, whatever it is. Sit down with people, discuss. It's not about price because price is gonna be different in a month. It's gonna be different in 2 months, different in three. Discuss a plan on how you can get your house ready to sell. Then when
Mhm.
you know what your house is ready to sell and what it's going to sell for, then you know what you can buy. So it's quite opposite from our previous 15, 20 years where you'd find something to buy, and when you found something you wanted to buy, you'd sell. Well, the market's different now. Now you sell, and if you sell because you're the one in five that does sell, then you go buy. And the neat thing is, you get to buy one out of five.
Yes. Yeah. You'll have
You
more
have
choices.
options.
Yeah,
You
you
have
have more
options.
choices.
But people that, if you're not selling, you don't have options.
Yeah.
And if you're not sold, you sure as hell don't have options.
Yeah. And the thing is, the more time they have to prep, the less overwhelmed they'll feel too, right? Because
Sure.
the selling process and the prep is the most overwhelming part of it all. Like once it's all done and it's marketed and it's listed, they're sitting back waiting for the offer to come in. But like that prep is what overwhelms many people.
Yeah, and we talked about this earlier about
Yeah.
people that rush don't make good decisions.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you don't have the time to prep, you're in a rush,
Yeah.
and if you're in a rush, you don't make good decisions. So, have a plan, make it early,
Yeah.
chip away at it,
Yeah.
and then before you know it, your goals get accomplished.
Yeah.
Wow, all you had to do was prep.
So now I'm curious, from your perspective, is it better to list earlier than the spring rush because like there's less competition?
I mean, in a typical market, which we haven't seen in 10 years at least, yeah, you would want to be like first out of the gates. I think in this market, you'd want to be ready to get out of the gates. So you don't want necessarily be the house that's going to set the market. Sometimes you do because you're the only one that sells. But in reality, I'd probably want to see one or two houses that are similar to yours sell so we can see if the market in the spring is set. If we see that it's set and the market's going down, you get on the market as fast as possible.
Mhm.
If the market sets and it's stabilized, then we know that what your price is going to sell for. If we see that it's set and it's going up, then we reach. But at the same time, it's hard to predict. But I'd say the only people that have an opportunity to even think like that are people that are ready. So if you're not ready to go in the market, that conversation is a moot point. I'd say the people that'll be the most successful are the ones that are ready, the ones
Mm,
that literally have like the sign, the photos are done,
yeah.
the staging is set with accurate timing, and as soon as we feel that the market's coming, like I mean, if you're coming into a snowstorm for a week and a half, no one's buying houses.
I know. We
But
do.
if you see the sun's coming up around the corner and it's after a long weekend, and maybe people are going to get going again, it might
Hmm.
be a good time to consider it. So being ready and then striking when the oil's hot and hitting that bullseye price, you move.
All right. So my next question for you is maybe you can put your mortgage hat on
Yeah.
and tell us a little bit about, you know, your mortgage services, and does it make sense for sellers to take some equity out of their house in order to invest in some of those updates that we talked about earlier, to add more value to their home?
Yeah, it depends on what you're spending your money on. I mean, like if you have a hole on your roof, yeah, fix it. If your furnace isn't working, fix it.
Yeah.
If you have a couple windows, do you replace them all? Maybe not. If the windows are atrocious and like there's a couple that are really bad, maybe replace them. There's certain things in this world that are the cost benefit analysis is worth discussing with a real estate agent. We know what's going to make you money, what's not. Some people say, "Oh, Josh, I really want to replace that floor. I hate that color." And I go, "There's nothing wrong with the floor. Fix the windows." So, because we know what people are going to pay for, they'll look past the floor, but they're not going to look past the windows, right?
Mhm.
So, is it worth taking money out of your account? It depends. I mean, like if you have a perfect home that doesn't need anything, no. But if you have a house where there's wants and there's needs, the need fixes, they need to be fixed. The wants, we can discuss them
Yeah.
one by one, right?
Yeah. And that's the kind of advice that you would share with your clients when you meet with them, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I mean, if they don't have money, then you, and that's fair. A lot of people don't. You say, guys, like, can you get access to money? No, we can't. We're out of money. Okay, let's find a way to work around this.
Hmm. Yeah. And are there mortgage solutions to help with that?
There is, and there isn't. I mean, like, if they're debted out to the point that they can't get any more money, there's nothing. All you can do is drop your price, sadly. Uh, on a financing solution, can you get a line of credit? Yeah, you absolutely can. I mean, like that stuff takes time. To get a mortgage or get a line of credit approved, minimum is probably a month to 2 months just
Hmm.
to get the money. And that's after you provide all the documents if you have everything in a row. So on a mortgage side of things, no different than selling a house. It's all in the prep.
Yeah.
So if people want to get financing and they know that they need to, and they've discussed with their real estate agent the pros and cons of doing stuff around the house, and they've also determined what's worth replacing, what's not worth replacing, and maybe they do have the ability to go out and get extra financing.
Hmm.
Well, that takes a bit of time and effort as well. So you got to go get your T4s, your NOAs, your pull your credits. You have to do fill the applications, you name it. That takes time and prep as well. So if you're disorganized, it's going to take you a lot longer. So start earlier.
Yeah. Yes. 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 That is so true. So any final advice that you'd like to share with our listeners today?
Yeah, actually, like there's something that I read the other day, and it was talking about how real estate agents and mortgage agents and whatnot, a lot of people work with a new one every time, right?
Mm.
And like sometimes like they'll call the agent on the sign and they'll just buy a house on a whim, and that's fair. And it
Hmm.
happens. We've all done these things, right?
Yes.
Uh, Oddly enough, there's always something to be learned after the fact. So like I go back and maybe you told someone that you bought a car and it's a friend of yours and they work in the car sales industry and you didn't even ask them for their advice. And not that they're offended, but then all of a sudden they tell you a couple things that you're like, oh, ooh, I didn't think about that, you know? And you recognize that there's people out there that are representing your interests, right? So the one thing I would recommend to people is like, one, if you had a real estate agent or a mortgage agent in the past that you've worked with and you had a good relationship with them, work with them again. Call them up,
Hmm.
hear them out. Or if you found that there was someone in the past that you didn't work with or you worked with and you didn't have a good experience, go out there and interview new ones.
Hmm.
Get new people to work with you. You got to build your team. And when you have that team, and if there's people you work with all the time, you don't even have to think about who you're going to interview next. You just go right back to them.
Yeah.
And I can promise you, like in this kind of a market, you want someone that knows what they're doing. You want someone that's going to know how to give you advice and experience. You want someone that's on your team. And I think more than ever, we will not see too many agents doing both ends of a deal, meaning like the person that's selling the property is not necessarily going to be the person representing the buyer. I think more than ever, you're going to see buyers represented by their own agents and sellers represented by their own agents, with two people going in with exclusive needs and wants that will be represented by their clients or their real estate agents and or mortgage agents fairly. So more than ever, I'd say build your team and build your network so that you're ready when the time is right.
Amazing. Thank you so much for that advice. Now, if someone wants to learn more about you and your real estate and mortgage services, what's the best way to reach you?
Yeah, I mean, if you go to our website, www.knowledgebroker.ca, it's super simple. KNOWLEDGEBROKER. Say that all the time because of emails when I'm telling people. But I mean, go on Google, read reviews, check us out, see what you think of us. At minimum, give us an opportunity to meet with you and see if we jive. If we don't jive, that's okay because there's different strokes for different folks, and we move on to different opportunities. So I always like to interview 1 to 3 people. If I get the one and it's a match made in heaven, rare, but sometimes they are, then I don't look around anymore. But if it's not a match made in heaven, maybe you find one more, you know.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate all the valuable insights that you shared today, and of course, for your time.
My pleasure.
And for our listeners, if you want to chat with Josh a little more about and have any specific real estate or mortgage questions, you'll find Josh's full contact information in the show notes. Okay. And finally, to close off, remember, when you take care of your home, it'll take care of you. Bye for now. Thank you for listening to the House Therapy Podcast. If today's episode inspired you, be sure to follow the show and share it with someone who would love it too. For more tips, resources, or to work with me directly, visit isodesign.ca. Until next time, remember, with a little effort, every home can be beautiful and every space can be functional. And remember, you deserve it.